We're live. Yay.
Yeah.
3 super chats in the buffer. I'll read those right away. Ozzy, $2.
That's exciting.
Got a new starship, USS Janeway. Not a new starship though, but that's okay.
And also, we don't know which one it is, so it's like, yay! But why is it?
I think it's the Armstrong class, would be my guess. But yeah,
should have been
it is
Voyager.
Ozzy throws in $2. Second new starship, USS Pathfinder. What? Never heard of a Pathfinder in this one.
No, in this
one.
Talking
about the Pathway Drive?
I doubt it. More questions being asked today on Trekyards, Stuart, I guess.
Sebastian, aka Space Daddy, €5. Best episode so far. It referenced the future disco AI from Short Treks. It did. It did.
They have multiple times, but
sort of developing emotions. So
yeah, they kind of. Well, jumping that a bit. I have a theory based on our chat earlier today. That might link in together even more. Because we had some good chats today in upcoming episodes.
We did
some real good debates and discussions and how it all makes sense or not, as the case may be. But we hope for yes. But hi, Stuart. How you doing?
Not bad.
This is our what?
Just feeling super underprepared for this because yeah, you know why.
It's like our 4th hour about Discovery today. And I've been listening to it and editing it, and you don't realize how much time we spend just in one focused chunk. All the YouTubers can't do their bit.
The shit we come up with when we talk about it. Most people just watch it once and don't think about it, but when we talk about it again and again and again, we come up with so many great, realizations. So
yeah, because it's super focused. When do you ever get to just say, "Oh, we are going to talk about this one subtopic for 20 minutes"? You have to talk about it, so you have to start thinking and designing, and it's really unique, Stuart. We like it. And the lives when you guys get to have your say via the super chats and the normal chats, of course. But the super chats are pretty awesome, especially in a month that's not been so great. So if you want to support us extra today, then throwing a couple extra 5s would be fantastic, as we're on course for the worst month in 25 months. It's looking that way. So yeah, but we're still here either way. And we'll probably do a drunk yards between Christmas and New Year's, showing off the Christmas presents, and I'll do some Trek short showing as well. Trek short showing. That does kind of work. So yeah, tune in for that, say hey, and I'll just have fun seeing my buddy Stuart. And he'll be on the live with us that day. And then our Stuart will be here too. But
well, what Stuart? What are we talking about?
What?
Another Stuart?
What? Nothing.
I don't know.
So shall I start sharing then?
Go for it.
Yeah, see you in a minute.
Yeah. So yeah, as I said, guys, I feel woefully unprepared for this one just because I've watched it once and a half, and I usually get my notes and my subtitles and stuff on the second watch through. Stopped it to go do something, ended up getting involved in it because ADHD and OCD, and just came down to sit down to talk to you guys about it and realize, shit, I didn't finish the episode the second time around to get the notes. But anyway, so we'll see how that goes. On the plus side, if you guys want to super chat, we've already got a few in there. That's great.
So my sculptures.
This is not a great month so far. So if you want to throw us a Christmas present, feel free. We do read all the super chats, so you can make us say anything you want, pretty much. So there's yeah. But anyway, we have 39 people here, 31 likes. Guys, hit that like button. Likes are a free way to help us out. You can also send a PayPal to trekyards@hotmail.com if you want. Just let us know in the regular chat that you sent that, and we will check out your comment or question via the email for that. We love hearing from you guys, so if you can, please do. Also, don't forget you can join the channel at the rank of Commander, Captain, Admiral, Fleet Admiral, and Federation President. We have a bunch of different member tiers and a bunch of different members at each tier, which are all very helpful and definitely help the channel. So if you can do that, click that join button and see what options are available for monthly subscription. Also check out Patreon/Trekyards. That's another monthly way to throw us some love and support. And yeah, we also have links for you guys down below for the TeePublic store, as well as the Teespring store, and also Eaglemoss. We have an Eaglemoss affiliate link. You can click that and use the discount code Trekyards10 on checkout to save yourself some cash. So lots of ways to help us out and yourself as well. So if you can, please do, and be part of the conversation today. So yeah, all right, there he is.
Boom, boom, boom.
Bum, bum, bum. Yes, Donnie, I agree with you. Glad that Tig is back because you know. Yes.
So Stuart,
So.
what do you think of season 5, episode 4 of Discovery?
Good episode.
Sorry. I mean season 4, episode 5.
There you go. Good episode. Felt very Star Trek, felt kind of like a TNG episode, and all 3 stories were good. I think the prison one dragged a little much, but that's just my opinion. Could be wrong. Other than that, I mean, we kind of got to the meat and potatoes of the DMA and what's going on with it, and it is actually more of a threat than we first thought. So, yeah, that's a good thing. Burnham was awesome. Like everybody was pretty much awesome this week. Even seeing Kovic back was good. So I don't know. Hugh, the Hugh thing the story didn't really affect me too much. But you know, the new guy, the Tarka, I like him. I like him and Stamets working together. The prisoner storyline with the one prisoner that chose to stay was all right, but I don't know. I don't think Book should have been as annoyed or pissed off as he was, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. That's about it. I mean, there's a lot of good stuff in this one for sure, but not quite sure how I'm going to score it yet as far as being one of the best of this season. We'll have to see. Change my mind. It's up there. It's just I don't know if it is the best so far.
And to non-subject briefly, Ryan Hale says, I'm sure doing this on Thursday is hard for you guys, but I love it. I always watch right at 1 a.m. when it's released, so great to have it fresh in mind. Thanks. Cool. Hope you enjoy. And yes, it's certainly a lot of work in one day. And as Sergeant Montgomery says, big time AR screen continuity issues. Let us know what. I didn't necessarily notice anything per se, except a lot of out of focus. That's intentional. Let us know, please do. That's kind of a big part of this is what you guys see, because we certainly see a lot and we want to bring that to you all, but hey, maybe you guys see something. I don't know if you caught, but in the rather fun Vance scene where he talks about all the different alien potentials, they redubbed an Iconian. He said something else and they switched to Iconians. He says like Iconian, like it doesn't at all match.
I think he said Iconians, and they put in surviving Iconians, maybe.
I think they probably put some on the random alien. Thought, we'll sort of try Iconians because it'll be fun, or something. Or he misspoke. I don't know. But it wasn't Iconians. It was something else.
Well, Eugene throws in 2,000 rubles.
What did Eugene say? Right.
Okay. Gonna miss this one. Haven't seen it yet.
Oh. I'm so anticlimactic, but thank you. I so look forward to your thoughts. Well, watch it before tonight and tune to Stuart's first reaction. Pimp that, Stuart.
Well, I don't even have it scheduled yet, so we'll see.
I made you a thumbnail, so...
Probably doing I know, doesn't mean I have to use it. Probably doing a live tonight, talking about this episode, just doing a hangout, so we'll see. Probably 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if I do it, or 10:30, I might go a little bit later. But yeah, keep an eye out for that. It'll pop up your notifications. So there.
There you go.
Yeah.
So what do I think, Samuel? Well, Stuart, thanks for asking.
I ask you every time.
I know. I was.
You don't always have to be asked. You can just start talking.
I was
about
using
it,
the
you know?
Quajon mind field to detect what you're asking me. So, no, I really enjoyed
Gotcha.
this one. It's a little bit different on second watch, but I really enjoyed it. For me, it is easily the best of the season. It has almost no distinct weak points for me. It's the first episode as a truly strong A plot, and that being the science. I was about to say burden, but the all the science stuff is really interesting. It's got a really strong pace. It's satisfying. Feeds into exactly what we've been saying. It has a really strong intro and a strong outro as well. So A story stronger so far. The B story with the prison stuff is interesting. Visually, it's got some good stuff. The Michael Burnham stuff, she is so captainy again. It's kind of close to a Picard Riker-esque sort of, away team mission, just without the away team because there's only two of them. But she's much more in line with the captain, really doing if they had the Pips justice, which is great. It is potentially a little bit too long, but it's really great acting. It's very Star Trekian, and visually it's great. So those three things, it's still fun to watch, just maybe 3 minutes too long. It's really on that wonderful line. The sea stuff with Culber is fantastic in and of itself, except in context of it was hinted at last week and forgotten about for 2 seasons. So if they were going to go full on with this storyline, there should have been every episode hints up until this point. So while they are great moments, they get let down by the lack of setup, because we all thought he was fine because he's been presenting as fine for 2.5 years after he, Jesus-ified. Thanks, mycelia. So, mixed bag on that. But no, it's a really strong episode with a great thing. It's great to be proven right on these things. We often are, but we do have a lot of theories. So as you said earlier, it's bound to happen if we keep presenting new things. But it felt very satisfying, this one, as a, yes, okay, A, B, and C is correct. And it now finally feels like the story is starting to pick up steam. And given there is still another 7, yeah, got a good amount of time left to do. And yes, I agree. I think that even though they presented the new science guy as potentially that classic douchebag character, I thought he was great. He was fun, he was interesting, he was relatable. The Riser I thought was a beautiful touch, really, really fun. Quirky, but the best people in their field are, because they put aside all else to get there. And I only caught it really the second time, but the fact that Culber and Stamets work so well together is because they're both very similar in their hard-working, put else all out of their mind to do it, which is detrimental to personal health, but they both find solace in each other, and that's kind of why they work. And obviously, Stamets says Culber as the other guy, I would kind of assume hasn't got anybody. It's kind of the implication. He's very mindless, mindfully focused. So yeah, just a lot of good stuff, and best one better than a lot of season 3 as well. I just wish I wish Vance had a bit more to do, because he's now feeling more like just the guest star rather than a head of Starfleet. But hey.
Stephen W. Fast, $5. Can't stay, but just wanted to show support and make you say, ho, ho, ho. I'm Captain Santa Foley, and he's Commander Samuel, the head elf. Our content is your Xmas present. There you go, I said it. See, you can make us say anything in a super chat, so if you want to say something ridiculous, I'll say it. That's fine.
Yeah.
Scott Clark asked, any ideas on the scar on the back of his neck? Was he in the Matrix? That's exactly what I thought when I saw that.
Whoa. I know Spore Drive.
Yeah. Well, he said, I know about pain, and that's when they showed that. So I assume he was a prisoner at some point. Maybe they got the idea from him to make this thing. That's why he knows all about it. So somebody so it's his fault, essentially. Oh.
I mean, my assumption, and more from the second watch, was that when he says to Stamets, I know you went through a really shitty thing, the mind control thing from the chain. I assume maybe he was also one of those prisoners also doing science stuff. It's just his version was more intense and involved a neural clamp and stuff, slave or whatever. So I kind of assumed it was that. He was made to do science, then trained for a long time. That's kind of my assumption.
Yeah, that works too. For sure.
Links into everything.
But we'll get there when we get there.
Yeah, that is literally the last thing, so...
Yeah.
We ain't there yet.
Belinda says, love the new Federation ships, the USS Janeway. There are no new ships, though. The only new ship was a Navarian ship, and we might talk about that on Saturday. The other ships we've seen before.
Let's do it. I'm just going to start a poll.
Go for it. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see what you guys think of this episode, because getting a lot of interesting feedback from the posts and stuff. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Eric Martin, $5. Didn't quite understand risking the ship in that experiment when the power of the evacuation would be available in 20 minutes. Yeah, there was no rush to figure things out like right that second at all.
Yeah, I mean...
But there were scientists, they were caught up in the giddiness of, oh my god, we're together and, we can do this.
Yeah, it's a weird one because Discovery is a refitted ship. Therefore, it is not going to be the pinnacle of whatever that tech of the era has. Even if it's most advanced, it isn't going to have the same potential. So most ships, I would assume, of the same era have more warp and whatever generating abilities. So yeah, all he has to do is, wait and get a... Because he didn't know he was going to do that test necessarily going in. I think he had an idea, but, I'm sure Starbase, the Starfleet HQ has more powered generation ability, so... yeah, there are other places you do experiment that are more able to. Yeah.
King of Ice, huge, puts in $2. Do you think the DMA is a new Borg weapon? No. Simple answer.
Oh, yes. Sorry, yeah, you're right. I thought it was 4 episodes, but there's actually 5. Darn it, yes. My bad. That's episode 4 for a second. Yes, and if it was Borg, they'd see Borg like signature, because they fought Borg for like hundreds of years, so they'd say it's Borg. My assumption. But yes, start us in a second.
Mark Lawrence, $5.
Yeah.
I haven't gotten home yet.
Oh.
So I have yet to watch. Just going to contribute, then escape with my fingers in my ears.
Good plan. Thank you. We'll tune back in. Maybe go watch it. It'll be here when you're done.
Yeah.
Just saying. So start us off, Stuart.
Starts off with 3 ships looking at the DMA, and the DMA basically winks out of existence. And then we get a very confused Stamets, who's like, it disappeared for 4.2 seconds. And Jet Reno's there, yay! And she's like, are you talking to yourself, or do you want an answer? Which, it's kind of funny. But yeah, so it disappeared and then reappeared like 1,000 light years away in 4 seconds, which is interesting. So it's not a normal anomaly. They come to the conclusion that it's actually artificial and constructed by somebody for a specific purpose. So.
Yeah, I thought this was a really fantastic opening. You see the scale of this thing when we saw, because this is the Eye of Sauron version of it, which is literally light years away, right? So the scale is really hard to think about, and in seconds, and you can actually see the thing getting sucked back into itself. So think about it, that's particles, that's dark matter being sucked in light years a second. And you can see a little focal point, and then it pops out of existence. So I like the visual. It really breaks scale a bit, but that just shows how powerful it is. And I did count. Stamets says it took 4 seconds to reappear. No, it took 13 seconds, Stamets. You can count, so Stamets was quite wrong. But I love the map. That was nice. Kind of shows what's still around. And I love it. It's so quick and random that the Tig just like. I was like, it's gone. No, it's not. I don't know. It's like, no, it's gone. It's like, what? Oh, yeah. It's such a, immediate thing that because no one's waiting. No one's expecting it. And this turns it from a a sort of threat to a real threat?
Eric Martin, $2. Now I'm craving mashed potatoes. I know.
John, you can only do.
I was like, I like this guy, mashed potatoes, and he said cold, and I'm like, oh, you fucking monster, what the fuck? And then
Poutine, cold.
Yeah,
you would have been even more pissed off.
No.
And I don't like it.
Way more than poutine.
I know, but Canadian, man. You gotta support your Canadian brothers.
Nah, not so much. But anyway, yeah. So it was a good opening, and seeing the map was cool. Seeing all the familiar place names and stuff. But yeah.
No, it's a fantastic opening, and 1,000 light years. That's what 7% of Voyager's journey. 70,000. 7. No. 0.7. No, yeah, 70,007. Yeah, so it was 10%.
It was 1%.
1%. Yeah, 1%.
No, 10. I don't do math.
Guys, is 7. Yeah, 7. No, it's 5.
It's 1,000.
Wait, 5 light years? 1 light year. What was it? It was 1,000
light years is how far.
So 1/70th.
So that's like probably 2.5% of 70,000. I don't know.
It was a real long way. How wide is the alpha?
A long way for something that's impossible, apparently.
Although I found that a bit of an odd statement. She says, nothing just disappear and reappear. Have you seen transporters? What are you on about? I know nothing about scale, but she didn't say that. The way she said it was a very stupid way of saying it. It's like, you can make things appear and disappear. It happens while going through time. That you're appearing and disappearing.
1.4%.
Yes, there we go. Math! But yeah, real far. Like, that's not an...
Power of math, people.
I like science.
I like science.
But no, it's a really great thing. And I like how they just don't even acknowledge it. It's such an impressive feat that it okay, yep, too much impressive to take in.
Yes, it is 5 light years across, but it moved 1,000.
Mm-hmm. Fine, if it moved 995 light years. And guys, vote in the poll. Episodes 2, 3, 4, or 5. Which was your favourite?
Somebody asked what? No episode 1?
Why no episode 1, Stuart?
I don't know. Why didn't you put it? Oh, because they're going to do 4 options, but...
Yes, that.
Yeah. Joshua 11345 puts in $5. Not sure if this question has been asked, but would you like to see the board return? It has been asked multiple times, and the answer for me is always no. So, I don't know about Samuel.
It always depends. You know, we know what 29th century Borg looked like with Hugh, or with One. And there's like Borg, with a few more sexy, like glowy, sleek elements. So, but the Discovery guys would totally change and ruin them. You know they would. So I'd rather not. Lower decks, you see Borg. Yes. Maybe Picard. Well, we do see him in Picard, and they were mostly good. But you know what? What I would like to see, I'd like to see cryogenically frozen Borg from the Picard era, then let loose in the galaxy, and they're so antiquated the tech doesn't work on them. That'd be a fun story. Like in Antarctica, like frozen for 2,000 years. So it's like it is the literal Borg from TNG. And it's just they're just such an old school way of destroying the universe that it's just like, yep, we are dangerous again. It's like, what? No, we are. What?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But yeah, then we get the whole discussion in the ready room about this big threat.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't remember specifically what was said. I've only seen this once, by the way.
Oh, you didn't get to watch it again? Ah, darn.
Watch the first 5 minutes. I told you, and then I had to pause it and go do something, and I got so wrapped up in stuff I completely forgot. Because usually we do these on Friday, and I usually get the subtitle stuff on Friday morning if I have to.
Yes.
So, yep. I have nothing. No notes, nothing. So, there you go.
But yes, they talk about, is it another anomaly? The readings match, which I thought was an interesting comment, because if you could scan 1,000 light years away, that means you're pretty advanced sensors. Like, they didn't send a ship 1,000 light years, or ship happened to be there, and yet they send a lot of Federation ships, or Federation ships are in range 1,000 light years away. So they must have reconnected with at least. Well, the Quajon isn't necessarily near Earth, so I don't know. We don't really get maps. Well, it'd be fun to see. Yeah, it'd be fun to see that stuff. But at least Federation has now stretched 1,000 light years of now it can get. Pretty cool.
All right, let's see.
And then they say, yeah, they say we have to stop, etc. So they go and not very impressive Vance scene. He's kind of felt like he was phoning in a little bit, just kind of going through the motions. Don't know why.
Yeah, I would say so too, and that's sad because we like Vance, but I don't know. Let's see here. Let's actually do have this part done at least.
But they, the thing's on course for a specific asteroid colony. Although they do say, because it's so big and so far away, that the gravitational anomaly may interact with the star system, but it's literally just 1 degree of distance and space. So that's like math within math of this percentage, but that's enough of it's enough of a chance, 1%.
Yeah, the cutoff point was like 4 hours or something.
Yeah, so we'll know.
So they order an evacuation.
Now, I was then thinking, are we planet evacuating? That's going to make Picard look a bit embarrassing. They can evacuate Romulus. Luckily, though, it's just a very, very small moon colony. Or like mining X. It's an X Emerald Chain colony. Which also shows that the Emerald Chain got 1,000 light years as well. That's a big old thing.
I love how Saru asks if the panic, that's been considered, because not knowing that this is artificially created, it could be a weapon.
Changes everything.
Like, Vance is like, yeah, the Federation president's talking to other leaders right now about that, because he said, like the Kaminar High Council contacted him and they're freaking out about it. So
yeah, his line of saying, yes, the fear in their voice was huge, and you do genuinely both on the you feel the tension, feel the this changes everythingness of it, but you got to focus on saving these people first. And there's and we're not sending ships, but ships in range are going to go there, and obviously you can just jump there and find it. But you guys will lead the evacuation, and proactive we are.
Yeah, and Vance does say that they've identified a number of civilizations that may possess the technology that's that advanced. The Metrons, the Nacine, the surviving members of the Iconian Empire, and the Q Continuum, which they say they haven't, been in contact with the Q for 600 years, and it's not like anything they've ever done before, so they don't believe it's them. So those were the nice references. So this one, they were calling those responsible are going to be known as Species 10C. There you go, 10C. Don't ask, I don't know.
And aren't the Nacine something? I feel like those are a race I've heard of.
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. Hold on, let me take a look.
And obviously, Iconians are always a great reference. And the Q was interesting, although they kind of, every show can change every other show in essence, but they're kind of, forcing every other Trek show now in a bubble, because that's not that long after Picard. 600 years.
Oh, the Nacine or is the caretaker.
Boom! Aha! There you go. That's kind of cool. Yeah. But I know that because this is 3190. 600 years is the 50s, and Picard is in the so it's very, very soon after Picard. And honestly, we might actually get, if they're being clever, the Q in Picard stops all contact with them. He says the trial is now over. We'll stop talking to you now. That might be a plot point in Picard, because we see the Q in that, and here we learn the Q don't ever interact again.
Oh, no, Vance said 600 years ago. That's still 300 years ahead of where Picard is. So.
Well, he's in 2500. Or is it 24? No, it's 24. Yeah, still got 160 years. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, almost 200, yeah.
But also, let's be honest, you might not tell everyone if you met a Q. So, easily retconnable out.
I know that you did.
Well, yeah. or Q could wipe your memory. So you know, is Janeway really going to say report that Q appeared in a bathtub? Did Picard actually tell everybody that Q made him go back in time, change his past, give him a new heart? Like,
yes.
Wow.
Yes, that's part of captain's logs. That's their job.
But would every captain do that? No, I don't think so. So.
Yes, that's their job.
Well.
If they're Starfleet. General Grievous, $2. The Nacine were Sporician life forms from Voyager.
Okay. Yes.
Sporician.
And guys, vote in the poll. Vote in the poll.
Then we get this guy, Tarka, coming in, who's been working on the next generation of the spore drive, but hasn't even bothered to talk to Stamets about it. I love how Stamets is like, yeah, he's working on it, but without a pilot, me or book, it's useless.
Mm-hmm. Although they do have tardigrade DNA on record, which means they could easily just inject someone else and make a tardigrade person. I'm just saying.
And Vance like stares at him, and if anyone can find a way, this guy can. He's kind of pissed at Stamets, actually.
Yeah, he is. Because he's like, you frickin' hubris scientist. Like, dude, you were born before any of my family, as far back as any of us remember. This guy is the cutting edge of science. He is smarter than you're ever going to be, that knows more than you're ever going to know. Shut the F up. You're a little bitch compared to him,
Even says we need somebody that's familiar with other, technology as well. And he's on the bleeding edge of science.
Because Stamets is smart, but he's outdated in every way. He can only have read so much. Do you really think he's read every form of propulsion, every form of weapons? No. So the other guy absolutely outclasses him, and I appreciate how they presented it. And it does seem a bit silly. Stamets says, well, my team can deal with this. Like, if your team's all of the Discovery people that you had originally, they're also all not there. And we haven't addressed or assessed that, like, he's brought in a new team from the future people. So it's just a, But we know what we get why in a minute, obviously. But it's Vance is like, shut up. Get over yourself. And it's good.
Yeah.
And then we get a book and quite a short book and this is saying, as he says, I'm coming with you. I'm helping. Give me something to do. I need to help.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we need to do something. Well, we can't. We're doing as much as we can.
At least they don't take his ship again for a 5th time.
Yeah. Then we get another bridge scene, and unfortunately Bryce isn't there. Lieutenant Christopher's there instead, so he's like new communications office now, I guess. I don't know.
Well, not just that, but a washroom.
I think it's just B shift or C shift because nobody's there. Yeah, exactly.
Only blonde lady, and I guess Bryce is there, although I don't remember a close-up on him in this scene.
No, Bryce isn't there. Christopher's replaced him.
No, I mean the other guy then.
Reese.
They don't matter. Sorry. I
just think Bryce starts with a B and he's black, and then Reese is just rhymes with Reese, if you want to go, because he's Asian. But there's ways to remember things. So
okay.
Bryce and Reese.
But Awashikam and Detmer, because I actually know those names, and Awashikam's a great name, they aren't there. And they're not there at any point in this episode. So not only are they... So they weren't in 3 now. Weird.
That's fine. I didn't miss them at all.
Well, I mean, how could you? They're barely in it. Although, speaking of missing...
I didn't miss Adira or Gray.
So
I'm glad they weren't in it.
Maybe it'd be kind of nice if we get a line later on that Adira's taking Gray to the Trill homeworld. Which would make sense. They had, a little bit of time to go in it, go do.
Then we get a shot of this colony, which is all strung together.
I was getting
pretty interesting.
And I was getting massive Star Trek animated series vibes of that ship. That's all the strung pieces.
Yeah, beyond the furthest star. Yeah,
because that's super close to it, like really, really close. I feel like it's got to be inspired by it for the lols. It's too close, like, even just the way it's arranged. Although I don't know if you noticed, but yes, the shot bay door is again open, Stuart. They've lost they've lost the door control. You're welcome. Because of course you go through the mycelial interdimensional network 1,000 light years away, and let's keep the door open. But it's cool it's not a planet, though. It's cool it's like a thing.
I love all the ships. Like, how many Federation ships are there here? Like, there's a ton.
You don't
They're
realize
only
it.
evacuating like 6,000 people.
No,
You realize?
no, it's 1,400.
1,400. Okay.
Yeah,
1,400
really
people. You realize the fucking Galaxy class could evacuate 10,000 people, right? One ship.
In how long, though? They only have,
well, yeah.
they only have 3 hours.
Time is the difference. They only had 4 hours or 3 hours at this point, whatever.
Because the transport is the last hour.
But,
no, but I mean,
Eric Martin,
you don't even notice the amount of like Firefly things until you like stop. Yeah, there's a lot of ships. I thought like 6 were here. They've got a fleet here. They really mobilise. I wish we saw close-ups on them. It would be a great time to see some of them do something.
Eric throws in $2. Targa reminded me of Rodney McKay, but darker.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so I did the
Not Canadian.
So just did the math. They said they could beam 40 people at a time. That's just Discovery. 1,400 people.
Discovery, yeah.
It's only.
Oh no, that's the array. It says the array. So that doesn't. I think that's the transport array on the colony or something, or that allows beaming. I don't know.
I assumed
But he says the array, which is an odd choice of words to say that we can only beam 40 people.
I assumed it was their transporter system can only handle 40 at a time. Their array.
Let me take a quick look at that.
Because the math says that only take 35 beams to achieve everyone. And if you've got at least 10, 15 ships, I mean, you're looking at 3 beams each. So, but that said, though, they don't necessarily highlight the challenge of this. It's more just the case of this sucks, let's go quick. But there's not really necessarily a ticking clock for the actual civilians.
Yeah.
Oh god, yeah, there's so many ships here. Wow, I only saw. Oh, yeah, there's loads. Wow. I didn't get close up on any of them, and none of them really have glows.
Okay, he says. So they're talking here, and she says, Commander Nielsen have Deck 4 prepare loading bays for refugees. We'll have them beam up, and then facilitate transport to other ships. Aye, Captain. And this book says the array can only beam 40 at a time. So that's just a weird choice of...
That doesn't mean anything.
No. If you said our transporters can only bring out 40 people at a time, yay. So can every other ship, and other ships might have bigger transporters and be able to take 80 or 120 at a time.
Jesus. Because then also, why don't they just beam down 500 transporter comm badges? Because they're each individually a transporter. They don't need a separate... They don't need a transporter array to use. They're self-independent. So just fly close enough to the planet, you know, replicate 500 of those. Yeah, it was weird. But then again, like I say, it wasn't a huge ticking clock. You didn't really get that tension. It was there as the super minimal. So the same token, it's like, it wasn't really focused on. Yeah.
Donnie Pearson asks, why no episode 1 option? And General Grievous says, only 40 people at a time? Geez, why does technology suck in the future?
We did a video about that as well. I did justify that a little bit because it's such a more advanced transporter, and since Starfleet hasn't done anything like this for a long time, they focus on better, faster, longer range, and so having they just have changed what they prioritize. You know, they can transport from half a light year away, but they can't do all the people now. It's weird, but how often do you need to do evacuation? If you can only warp 5 planets, I mean, and then if you can't even send enough ships anyway for 120 years, they focus on those sort of things.
It just made me laugh because even smaller ships have a 5,000-6,000 person evacuation limit. That's packing people in tight.
Yep. But
you can do it. So
yeah, this is a 1 Galaxy class mission, literally. Yeah, give or take.
Probably 48 hours to get that many people off or whatever. So yeah, I get the more ships thing with the amount of time they had.
Although in the Galaxy you could send a lot of shuttles. Although can you imagine if we saw the Bay launch 50 shuttles again? I'm just I'll stop launching thousands of shuttles.
I think they might have learned their lesson there.
Stuart, we said that, and they had a turbolift fight. I'm just saying. And also somebody did say, someone asked a good question with a good answer. Something about warping. Oh yeah, Ryan asks how all their ships get there before Discovery? That spored in because they were in range. That was the whole point. It's the nearest ships in range. They jumped in. So it happened to be a place close to places. And we might find out next week. They're only like 50 light years away from the XYZ planet. You know, somewhere important. You know, this just happens to be the emergency situation of the week rather than anything else.
100 people watching, 72 likes, guys. Hit that like button. Keep the super chats coming. They're doing really well. But it is a shit month. So honestly, another 120 would be awesome at this point, if not a little bit more. But yeah, so 5s, 10s, they all add up, and we really appreciate it.
Yes.
It's possible. So
helps us to go.
It makes us go.
And then they talk to the hologram on the
magistrate, yeah. And they say there's 6 people that are kind of beneath another dome, but staying way far away from the evacuation area. What's up with that? Well, they're the examples. They're criminals, essentially. Why would you want to rescue them? We're getting everybody off. So, all right, then. Even though the guy does not agree, he thinks they should be used as an example to others.
I think in here he says that, yeah, it's a case of it's the Orion Syndicate's motto, which seems not really. I felt they're more of a torture and kill philosophy than a. Anyway, so they obviously crime happens. They picked 6 of those crime people and gave them the biggest sentence, which was 30 years in prison. Boom, and obviously we learned later, therefore, a modicum of small crimes, and because you may be picked to be one of the any crime you do, you might be picked to spend basically half your life, quarter of your life in a prison doing nothing. And that's the risk you'd have. And he said, this has helped solve crime, basically. So I'm assuming it's quite successful, and they have, low crime society. Although they said they managed to evacuate 1/4 of the population, which means they only have under 2,000 people there. Very, very small colony. Yeah. I said it's a tiny colony.
General Grievous, $5. Scotty beat them by 7. He managed to transport 47 people at once off the Elorian ship, and at once. In the late 2290s on a bloody Excelsior class. Not only that, but from the fucking bridge, from the ops console, instead of the transporter room. There's probably no transporter chief because they come on Tuesday. So, and yeah, those. Well, see, that's the problem though. Like even a Constitution class ship has like 4 main transporter rooms and then a cargo transporter or 2. So an Excelsior would probably have 6 to 8 transporter rooms of 6 pads or 7 paths each, easily. So I don't know.
Yeah, yeah.
The way they design the ships is smart. The way they write the scripts and have plot problems is not smart sometimes.
I mean, I love the limitation factor because I'd rather have it be this way around than say 15,000 people. We can only beam out 500 at a time. We're thinking. Wait, are you telling us we're going to put 1,000 people on Discovery? Like, I'd rather this way, of the 2 evils, this is much better. They should have given... Oh, see, all they had to say, though, Stuart, seriously, was the radiation from the sun as it gets closer, because they kind of throw that in right there. It's like, oh, the sun's going to destroy them. It's like, I thought the gravity was going to destroy them. Okay, I guess not. They should have been the gravity from the sun makes the transporters work less the closer to the gravity of the sun, which would be a great idea. So, right now we can beam 50, in half an hour we can beam... 40, 20, you know what I mean? Like that sense of... And then it gets more tense as you go because it's limited, but, that's fine. But yes, no one left behind.
Except for the prisoners. Screw the prisoners. Oh, wait a minute. No.
Oh, and then Reese, Davis, Bill... He actually gets from behind his console, says something...
Yeah, he wants to volunteer to help out. He thinks he could do good.
And boy, I was thrilled thinking he's going to get an entire subplot. We're going to see him on this planet, hurrying people into the transporter alcoves. I was like, yes, he gets a subplot. And how much more screen time does he have, Stuart, in this episode?
A little bit.
Saving people?
No, reporting on it. Like a minute's worth, maybe.
It's just like, he's on the space phone once and that's it.
But I like that he stepped up and, he's trying to take on more responsibilities, which means we might see more of him because that's what a good officer does unless you get promoted and.
Well, he's acting
Although
captain.
she does say commander. She does say all right commander, which makes me wonder. I think he's lieutenant commander based on his stripes. And I hate when they do that.
Yeah.
Lieutenant commanders just become commanders. It gets confusing sometimes, but.
Yeah, so we're not used to that rank. But I kind of wish we had, though, at the end. I mean, the black guy got a round of applause for a thing about waves. If this guy is the one leading the charge to save people, Burnham is out there saving 4 or 6 prisoners. He might have just saved like 190 people and his team. You know what I mean? He's doing
his job.
Yeah,
that's his job.
But he's doing the hard work.
Bryce's job. It wasn't Bryce's job to help with the wave thing.
He also volunteered, though. He could have just been sat here on the sat here on tactical, shooting at the ton.
Well, if he would have came in and said, "I volunteer for this. I think I could be helpful." In Boy Scouts, I got my rescue badge by rescue. I don't know. Then he get the applause because it's like,
It's just funny because he did a lot more hard work than Burnham this week. A ton more. Would have been nice to congratulate him a bit more.
Yeah. Eric Martin, $5. The DMA is being controlled. Why Booker's world and this small colony seems odd and no demands made. Motive. We've talked about this. There could be reasons for this.
Well, there better be.
Yeah, watch our videos over the next day or so. You'll probably see some discussion on that point.
But we don't necessarily think malicious villain weaponness. Yeah.
No. Joshua 11345, $5. Would your thoughts be on a future design of the Galaxy class ship? Would our thoughts be on it, or what would our thoughts be? I mean, we'd love to see it, obviously, but
although they're so different.
That's the Armstrong class. I don't know.
Yeah, and they're so different designs now that if it looks too similar, it's like, why is this a future gal? So it's kind of hard to even correspond what it's going to be. I don't know.
Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, they have to beam out a half kilometer from the prison or something like that. Her and Book go with no other assistance when there's an automated defense system in place, and don't know why they don't take more people with them. But anyway. Then we get the Paul and Hugh scene. And this is where Stamets is like, oh, this dude's Tarka is coming aboard. She probably will put on a new uniform. And then kind of complains to Hugh about the fact that this guy hasn't even made the effort or the professional courtesy to reach out to him to ask him to help with the new spore drive tech and all this. And Hugh's also having a bad day. He's been working nonstop and needs to take a break. So
yeah, exactly. It's kind of weird to see them together at this point. We have so few scenes of them. Culber's a one-trick pony with his, helping others through counselling, and Stamets is every science under the sun. So it's nice to see him share a scene, although I wonder what Culber's doing. I guess he's also freshening up. But I quite like the context here. So it's a good exploration as to why he's pissed from earlier. Yeah, this is my life's work. I'm the genius that also am the one that, works with it. So to be annoyed at the guy, but I having now seen this guy, I actually get it, because he's so focused on, can I make it work? He's like, I just want to keep going. I want to just keep working and lose track of time. So I don't see any malicious in that. He just didn't realize, as often geniuses just don't realize social cues.
Well,
he's talked to a radio the whole time.
When they say he's coming on board, it's like he's a goddamn superstar, because everybody's like, woo, woo. He's coming on board, and then he shows up on the bridge, and everybody's like, oh. It's like, relax. Where's the paparazzi? Nobody's following him, taking pictures. He can't be that good.
Well, I'm sure Zora's doing snaps the whole time. She was asked by them.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
I was kind of intrigued, though. He wasn't in uniform, so he's not Starfleet. Just a note, not formally, but just like just like with Aurelio, he's a science guy from Science Planet and helping out. But yeah, I thought it was interesting. At the end of this scene, he says, they each support each other, and he tries to help Culber. If I can give you some advice, and Culber shoots him down in a polite way, saying, yeah, not right now, dear. Goodbye. I was like, ooh,
Yeah. Yeah.
ouch. It's kind of a slight
Yeah,
gut
you just gave
punch.
me advice. I want to help you. Oh.
Yeah. And Paul says it in a great way as well. He's like so gentle and caring. He's like, yeah, no, sorry, bye. Like, you know something wrong when he just flat out refuses.
Yeah. Eric Martin, $2. So what is on Targa's neck? Reminds me of Saturn V. It's Tarka. Targa, I guess. But Saturn V. What's Saturn V rocket? What? Am I missing something? I don't know. We don't know what's on his neck. That's the point. It does look like he was plugged in the Matrix at one point.
Like I said, I think it's
Anthony...
enhanced making you do what I want collar from Emerald Chain. Hence why he's not in Starfleet. He's civilian.
Anthony Monahan puts in €5.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Any thoughts on the launch of the James Webb Telescope next week? Great moments in human history. Yay, another telescope. Don't care. Not real space fans. Or, I don't know. It's cool. Good. Keep doing your thing. I don't need to watch every launch.
Yeah, not real space travel isn't sci-fi enough for me. It's a rocket going up to space is great, but I want a spaceship that can go to Vulcan. So I didn't even know what was happening. I mean, I watched the big moments. Yeah, is this telescope? Seriously, tell us in the chat. I mean, is this an absolute breakthrough in telescope technology? Because the Hubble's doing some still pretty amazing stuff. Is this that's a long time ago? Is this really advanced? Let us know.
Ash Lemon, £2. His neck. TNG conspiracy callback.
My dad said that.
Ooh.
Instantly texted me saying conspiracy. I'm like, ooh, conspiracy.
I never considered that, but
because if he knew that hole's a tell, maybe they he covered it up by doing something else.
That was one of our theories early on, that this thing might be created by them, just as an off joke. We're like, it's the conspiracy aliens are coming back, because we were rattling off people it could be. That was during one of our lives.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that would be an epic callback, and they could certainly then in the promo material say, Alex Kurtzman could braggingly say, or Michelle Paris, we thought we should bring them back after 25 years. Those little parasites.
They never got a chance to return. That signal got sent out to space. Yeah, absolutely.
Took 800 years to get to them. but if they're from another galaxy, then that's interesting.
I think that was even said in the episode that they might have been.
Yeah, they threw out a lot of mites. Mites.
They were gonna turn into the Borg essentially, and then the Borg became the Borg, and the storyline kind of didn't go anywhere. So
I mean, actually, maybe that would explain why Vance is off as well. Maybe they've started infiltrating, and that's why he's not quite as friendly.
Oh my god!
I mean,
dun, dun, dun.
It would certainly be a real twist, although it's just it's like the Gould, Them destroying a planet is way more impressive than them taking over some Starfleet people. That said, the amount of time spent on the president implies that if the president suddenly goes wacko jacko, A, we care because we like her, and B, then we'll see a cut where she, moves away her hair and there's little stabby things. Like, the president's been taken over and we can't prove it because, I don't know, we can't scan them, even though we all have comm badges. And then that's why she's a character in this season, because we have to have, political take. And then we Discovery against the Federation. The saviors have to fight the very people they saved. And now we've given every ship dilithium. And now we're being chased by... the entire Federation. Now we have to go through the anomaly, which we can generate now because we have the thing, to their planet, on their galaxy, to stop them. And which Starfleet is now chasing us.
Go into it at one point, yeah.
I think I sold myself there, Stuart. And lets them fight Starfleet successfully.
Nice. No, it sounds good. That would be great.
It's not that. That'd be insane, but...
Guys, hit that like button. I just got a message from one of our moderators saying, can't get anybody to hit the like button today. Well, I'm the captain, damn it. 104 people, 89 likes. Let's get to 100 likes. It's only 11. Yes. 11 more people. Come on, guys. Hit the like button.
And George says, yes, the new telescope is really advanced. Should be able to see the Big Bang. Woo! Also, we can see light those millions of light years away.
I can watch The Big Bang on it's on Crave.
Or on selfie mode.
Oh my god, that's awful.
I thought that's where you were going.
No. I'm talking about The Big Bang Theory. But if you want to go there, well.
Next scene. The guy walks in. What an entrance. And he says, antiquated ship. And it's like, it is an antiquated ship. They all took offense. It's literally the oldest ship anyone they've ever seen. It's the oldest ship alive. It's very antiquated, no offense.
Yeah, his attitude's very... Yeah, I like Stamets' reaction. It's like,
Well, it comes across
yeah,
as...
it is an antiquated ship, guys.
It comes across as dickish, but really he's just very matter of fact. He's just less filter, but doesn't mean anything by it. Everything he's saying is correct. You know, Stamets' work is 900 years old. Of course it's not finished. Except it works, obviously.
Mm-hmm.
But no, I actually how it works better on a second viewing, how relatable he is. And yep, we're going to go work out this big thing. And there we go. And look at those feet. And then we zoom in on this colony, which was prison, which look good-looking CG shot, bit woo, but it's good. And then we cut to the LED wall stuff, which is good. I think they did a good job here.
And then Reese shows up, and he's like, 160 transported so far. It's been chaotic, but things are going okay, I guess. Yeah, it was nice seeing him. I get a little bit of a backstory here, I guess.
He got actual backstory, Stuart. My God. Wow.
Yeah, he thanks her for letting him do this, and learns that his town was wiped out by a hurricane back when he was like 5. So, I mean, it's interesting. Starfleet crew got him out. That's one of the reasons he wanted to join. So, and he understands what they're going through, essentially. But yeah, that's the last we see of Reese, unfortunately. But it was great to see him in like the tactical gear. Then we get the Book trying to open the door, essentially, which is old hat to him.
Which, I mean, he did work for Emerald Train, so it felt a bit easy. He's very good at what he does, so I kind of liked... This is just... Because this isn't new tech by any means. This is old tech of a thing he used to sort of work against, so... Although, it's getting a little bit obnoxious, them going...
Yeah.
It doesn't... And you imagine the actors, like, they're so used to practical, you know, in season 1 with all these practical screens, and I'm just going, yeah, I'm totally doing shit. And then the animator's like, oh god, I gotta do all this bullshit. What the fuck? What is he doing? He's doing is a turn, is it? Oh, fuck knows. I mean, it looks good and all that, but it's I think I mean, god, imagine, it's like in Stargate, every time they walk through Stargate, it costs them $2,500 per person. From literally the start of the season to the end of the season, because it got better. Imagine how much each one of these things costs just to hand animate and bullshit, and like every single time it's like burning cash.
Then we get the little beetles that are they're, you know, just a species that's on this planet, but then it turns out it's not, because it goes back and forth like 4 times in a precise pattern. So it's actually part of the defense systems here, because Book can't communicate with it, even though he should be able to. So, yeah. I don't know. I think it's kind of a weird defense system, honestly. And landmine rocks. So, I guess actually just disguising natural things around, or explosives and stuff as natural elements, is kind of ingenious in a way. But anyway, then we move to the next scene, which is the whole conversation about him being able to use Discovery and Stamets as a tool, essentially, in an experiment. He's got this control device that he speculated that is in the middle of the DMA, and he's got a copy of it, a small version of it that he wants to deploy on Discovery to test, to see who might be responsible for building this thing. And that's the scene. They decide this isn't the room to do it in. No, it's not big enough. So let's go to the just as big room of the spore chamber room, when they should have gone to the shuttle bay or a cargo bay or something. But yeah, great dialogue in this scene too.
Yeah, and and just on the bugs for a second, I thought it was quite an interesting solution, although really it's such a short-term defense mechanism. As soon as you know they're bombs, what's the point in them being looking like this? You know, well, I guess if they kill you straight away, who cares? Or is it really believable there's like 8,000 of these bugs just walking around? I don't know. I guess it's more just you know, well, if you kill intruder first one round. And what were you saying about the...
This is where he explains that there's a control module in the center of the DMA, and that he's going to use Discovery as a tool, an instrument to kind of test his theory. But they need a bigger room to be in because, yeah.
Obviously, you know, go to a dedicated science lab, not a spore chamber. And this I thought was an odd scene, because the first part of it is Stamets telling him everything he already knows, which I know that's a thing for the audience, but it does feel like, you know, you're going to a school and you're telling the teacher the lesson you're about to teach. It's like, but I'm about to teach it. Why are you telling me first? It's redundant. And it's not even for Sorry, because he would have read the report too. And then the guy makes this analogy with information that he also knows. So they're both talking down to each other in a science way. In a sense, it's like, well, you know this, and I'm here to do this. Like, there's, and then, but the twist is that he actually has these full schematics, and that throws everyone for a loop. And certainly me as the audience, I'm like, say what now? What? But boy, that makes him so happy. Look, the kid in the candy store acting, I really liked.
Yeah.
Paul's acting.
It surprised me a little bit that he came to the conclusion that there's a device in the middle of it that's creating wormholes, and that he has an exact version of what it would be like. You know. So
my assumption is that because the 3 ships in range, it was, and we do see a thing in the middle, so there's a clear central point. In the intervening time, there are obviously full scans, and they were to detect it and get a preliminary scan. And while you wouldn't think a preliminary scan in maybe 1 second, you know, 24 parts of a second, you know, 24 frames a second, sorry, yeah, they could get some level of reading, but to have full schematics, I mean, this is the mega future, so okay, sensors are really that good, but that implies that, you know, they warp in and at, you know, 5 light years, they can fully detect the inner workings of a thing. Okay, it's probably quite big because they can imply it's. I mean, this size is 1 to the 37th power minus 7. Like, okay, it's huge, right? It's probably, you know, moon-sized. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
But to have those sensitive scans, I think that's absolutely a red herring, because I think that he already had some level of schematic for this thing, and I don't want to go into the whole theory now, maybe at the end. But that was a really interesting curveball, and it really skipped the plot forward a massive degree. But that's probably why it's so exciting, because this is like, ooh.
Yeah.
But then this is going to be, well, or it's not. But I hope it's important why he has this. But not in a menacing way, not in a mean way, just a, wow, okay.
And we get the bug battle with the little spinny discs that were trying to cut the rock that they were in.
So random, but I do like it, yeah.
It was such a video game baddie. Bugs that create these little flying discs that can, like, get shot at you. But anyway, it is what it is. They're easily destroyed. Or at least disabled. Sorry, not destroyed yet. Then we get into the prison.
I did think it was a bit too easy. I know Byrne was amazing. I really wish they'd had... I wish she'd said, Saru gave me all the schematics for this base. I'm sure the off-code is in that. I wish that had been a line of dialogue, because they would come prepared.
The problem was they didn't have any information on the thing, because the magistrate even said, you got nobody there to deactivate the systems. The only people that know are the prison guards, and they evacuated a while ago. There's nobody there. So Saru wouldn't have any information. But yes, I agree with you.
But I feel they could hack into the mainframe or just be given codes. Or even if in a similar vein, but not quite, if Book said, I recognise this, I have schematics for this, send it to your pad now, because he fought them in the past. Because it's all old tech, so I get why it might be deal withable, but I wish it wouldn't feel so easy. Although it might have taken like 5 minutes, we really don't know. I think one thing that was very needed is that blade, which is such a red herring. It goes into the rock, and as if there's some threat. I wish it had been. I wish she'd be like, how long is it gonna take? Don't know. Okay, adding tension, and then we see the rock start to burn, and then we see it start to melt as the thing's coming in, and then nick of time. So we know it did take like 4 or 5 minutes to get through, and they were this close to dying. And I was waiting for that visual effect, and we just didn't get it. So missed opportunity, but not the end of the world. Still a fine scene.
Well, that's the vibe that I was getting when it was cutting through. That eventually the rock was just going to split, and there we go.
Yeah, just some payoff to the spinny thing, because there's literally none. Yeah, but they walk
in. Get in. They talk to the prisoners and say, everybody else is getting evacuated. You're coming out of here. And they're like, why would a Starfleet captain come to help us? Because Starfleet doesn't leave anybody behind. And then we find out that they're all there for very minor things. Everyone is sentenced to life, no matter how small their crime. One guy stole food for his family. One guy traded counterfeit latinum. Another person counted cards. And somebody took a joyride on a sand copter. But anyway, they get 30 years and counting because of that. And they complain that it's not a place of justice. Did Starfleet care about us before? And then just the explanation, because it's Emerald Chain territory, which is not our jurisdiction. So, but we're going to get you out of here.
Yeah. And I kind of thought this would be a smaller part of the episode at this point. Because it feels like quite a big setup, but I'm sure this is also the LED wall, and it's just those little pods are real, everything else is fake, and I think that works very effective. In fact, those light pods are the same things that are outside. So I think the pods are the exactly same place. They just move the rocks out, put these things and move the set, which is very effective. I mean, it's hard to tell. They did a good job, I think. And it's kind of simple, but not. And I also quite like that you can see out the door, everything. Like, it's all quite connected in the gentle background. But boy, what a shitty little prison. But things, they're not like dangerous prisoners, so it's not like it needs to be anything more than a cage. Then they can't escape. Yeah. If they could, where are they going to go? And they can't escape. So it is very minimal.
Oh, yeah. They figure out that there's a force field generator up above, and its casing is quinarium alloy, which is one of the strongest metals there is.
Of course it is. It always is.
But it's also an excellent heat conductor, so a value of like 449 or 94 degrees or whatever will destroy it, essentially. Heat the system up and fry it.
And I wish it. It's always hard to create a thing that's so powerful and you can just easily take it out. I wish.
Well, here he even says, "How long do you think it'll take?" And she goes, "I have no idea." Perfect line to just say at least half an hour.
Yeah. Or she comes up to the science blonde lady. How long have we got left? 2 hours and 4 minutes, Captain. Well, I'll be at least 2 hours. Or it'll be at least an hour doing this. Or like she had to put the gun on automate and she puts on a little tripod and it firing. Like it cause you have no sense of time, and I really wish it took. You got a sense this was a. So, Book, how's the weather? Or if they had the entire convo with the guards while firing, as if literally. So, what are you guys in for? I'm stuck. I can't. Small thing just to add the pace, add some tension. But yeah, it's fine. I would have wasted time.
494K or Kelvin. Yes, absolutely.
Ah, yes. But the next scene though, great acting, great acting.
I love Kovac. He's like, you asked for this meeting, and he was like, yeah, but I didn't know there would be evacuations. Because I got 10 minutes. I cleared my schedule. I'm here. What do you want to talk about? And Hugh needed somebody to be blunt, brutal honesty with him, apparently. But yeah, I mean, Kovac just basically says, you feel guilty because you died and came back to life, and what makes you so special? So every waking minute for you is guilt, survivor guilt, essentially. And it feels like you need to be here to do this thing. You're here for a purpose. That's why you were brought back. And if you don't have that purpose, you're going to feel empty. And that's just the brute honesty that he needed. I love Kovac is like, yeah, I got another meeting now. Bye. Kovac is great here. I love Kovac as a character, and the way Cronenberg plays him is just so deadpan. It's just so awesome. But yeah, brutal honesty, definitely absolute candor. He must be quoting a lot. Saying. But yeah, Hugh basically. I never really considered that before, but yeah, he came back from the dead. Why can't other people come back from the dead? He's got to talk about all this death and destruction around him with everybody that he sees. And it just, every session would be nagging at you after that. Because he says he's essentially lying to them, saying we're going to figure out who created the DMA. But, yeah.
Yeah, this was a really strong scene, and this is probably Wilson's best scene in terms of an actor.
Yes, I would say so.
I mean, he's on fire in this in terms of delivering the performance. We understand everything about it, but it literally comes from half a moment last week and some stuff from 2 seasons ago. You know, it's like if we suddenly had in season 6 of TNG Data getting sad about Tasha's death again. We'd be like, what? That was years ago. You haven't mentioned it for, you know, it'd be that abstract. But yeah, it's beautiful in context. It makes sense. You know, and it's kind of fun to, you know, have another character spill all the exposition beans. But yeah, Kovacs very watchable, as weird as that is. And in an 8-minute time period, and he just pops off at the end. Because yeah, you know, even in this, the way they frame it, and you'd think that Culber would research this after the fact. Presumably, death is still a relatively hard thing to come back from. Obviously, you know, graded it as well, but that's different sort of life and different sort of... This is real life. This is human, organic, same body, etc. So if it's that rare... I'm kind of glad we didn't get any God elements to it, though. It's just a purpose is more of just a... You know, purpose of... I feel like I've got a purpose to help. It kind of all was nicely grounded, which I liked. But yeah, you know, what's the purpose if I haven't got a purpose, if I can't do this? And yeah, it's... You know, and how can you stare at people... talking about loss when you're the epitome of the opposite of loss, but they're not thinking that. I mean, does Book know he came out from the dead? Does he care? You know, he doesn't know. You know what I mean? I don't think most people necessarily vibe that. Oh, my mother died 30 years ago and you came out to life 4 years ago. It's like, I mean, I don't, you know. Yeah. That's good. Yeah. Very good acting. In 8 minutes too.
Yeah.
But I want to put a new poll in there briefly. What you do some goals, and I'll just read out the poll as well. What was your favourite episode? Episode 2, 12%. Episode 3, 8%. Episode 4, 20%. This episode, 59%. And I am shocked at the margin, but also rather pleased. Because that is a stonking victory.
So let's see. Another 12 likes would be awesome. Let's get to 120 likes would be cool. Keep the super chats coming, guys. We need at least another $75. So
100 would be perfect.
A couple of 5s adds up really quickly, and really helps us out. So if you can, please consider doing so. Eric Martin does put in $2 on. So the Spinner Things reminded me of Battleship. That's a great movie. Yeah. Now that you said that, that's exactly what they remind me of. But yeah, guys, hit that like button if you haven't already. I'd really appreciate it. Well, we both would. But yeah, I just love how the next scene starts for a specific reason. Eugene puts in 1,000 rubles. Thank you, Eugene. And he goes, here we go. Here's his thoughts on it. Well, 'twas strange. Intro finale feels like the part of the season-wide story. The rest is, again, the ABC story split, each with different pace, feel, and even visual style. As if writers throw short stories into the episode and watch which one sticks. That's Star Trek, though. That's the Star Trek formula, man. Sorry.
Yeah, that's a very literal interpretation of the episode, but that is 250 episodes of the Trek lore. I mean, that's a very general summary. You know, think about all the episodes of TNG where, yes, each plot feels differently paced because one's in space, one's on a planet, one's on a, you know, one's with Deanna and Chocolate, you know. But did you enjoy it? I didn't see necessarily a personal opinion on that. What did you think?
Yeah, that's a good point.
But yeah, I mean, fair.
So here we see phasers phasering with solid phaser beams.
Is that the
Thank
first
you.
time
Instead of
in the 32nd century? It might be.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they finally overheat the thing.
And they get out, but it's not that easy. Because the lady's like, and I am going to escape now. She's like, nope. And then the main guy talks him down, saying, let's not start this with the whole prison thing. Let's not start with pointing a gun.
I don't want to be put in your brig, you know, just changing prison for prison. Yes. I want your promise that we can have a fair shake, essentially, get asylum or political whatever with the Federation. I don't want to just be thrown into a prison again.
Even though it does
we need.
Sorry.
Like I said, we need our cases heard for what they are and to be treated fairly. Is all they're really asking for. And she's like, yeah, I mean, I'll try.
Yeah, it does feel a bit of an odd request not to go to the, you know, brig. I mean, just the asylum bit's fine, but you'd still go to the brig because you're still you still gotta respect the laws of the other culture, given that there's, you know. But, you know, I like in second viewing, knowing this guy's true motivation, you can see he's like every step standing up for them. You know, he's not the leader. He's just, I need them to get out and be safe. I'm penanting by getting them safe, and I really like that second viewing. There's a certain clarity in his action that you only really see the second time, which I really like. And also, the guy knows the script, so he knows what he's putting into it. And really good casting. He's such a random choice, but like, right there.
I love the way he delivered his lines. I thought he was great. Yeah, it's a shame he dies. Spoiler. Yeah. Well, then we get the spore chamber using the DMA controller thing,
which we do sort of see, and it is just this little energy ball. I mean, it's very nondescript, and I was kind of surprised we never got like a close up of it. 'Cause it just literally is just a tech ball. It kind of feels like the Star-Lord ball thing. Not a bad way necessarily, but it's just it's very non anything. Like there's no Borg energy, there's no sense of a species or whatever.
It also looks like a Transmetal 2 driver from Beast Wars. So
a crossover confirmed, maybe.
Yes. Yeah. Anyway, no, Jet Reno's back. She's diverting power for them. Everything except transporters. And to keep the containment field up because they need to push this thing to the limit. And Jet agrees to do it, but only, well, Saru agrees, but he gets a kill switch. So he can turn it off at any time. Yeah, so we find out the guys from Ryza, the Pleasure Planet, and was surrounded by idiots. And then he calls, felt like you're Galileo at the Inquisition. You mean Galileo? Yeah, whatever. So this is actually a really fantastic scene. Talking about how great intellect can be costly. Your encounter with the Emerald Chain, this is that whole discussion. The neural locked, painful. So yeah, he's been through something similar, you can tell.
What was this guy's name again?
Darka.
Okay.
Tarka. But then the experiment pauses because they need more power, so Jet transfers a bunch of power, except for transporters, which is not an option at this point.
Okay, so I've got a new poll, and I'm just kind of, this is about which plots did you enjoy the most? And I did do a D plot, because there is kind of a D plot. Let's wait for it to... So what was your favourite plot of this week? The A plot, which is the DMA science stuff. The B plot, which is the prison subplot. The C plot is Dr. Culber's mental health. And the D plot is the Dr. Takada's motivation. So that's the implied maybe negativity, maybe secrets. You know, that little tiny plot. Just yeah, we had 4 options. Might as well use them.
Go vote in the poll, guys.
Mm-hmm.
Richard Kennedy, who's been a member for 23 months.
Oh my
Commander.
God! Thank you.
Thank you so much.
It's always lovely to hear.
Really loved this episode. Yes. Eugene puts in 1,000 rubles again.
Follow up.
And says, yes, but actually no. There is no stable foundation or status quo. Mission to make the show episodic. As for feelings, this is the best episode so far. I like the stories. A bit worried about the mystery. Oh, it spelled mystery wrong. That's okay. Annoyed by irregular pace.
See, I quite like the pace, and I'm pretty careful with my like or not liking pace.
I didn't even notice the pace, which means it was good, pace good, except for the prison scenes, which I say are a little bit long.
Well, there's a moment for me. There's a specific moment for me where it kind of loses the steam, and we haven't got there yet. I think up until this point, the pace is really freaking solid, like weirdly solid.
Yeah, up till now for sure. But yeah, there's this specific.
Yeah, which we're close.
One of the next prison scenes is way too long.
We'll get there. I gotta say, I absolutely adored the Riser reveal. I feel like if I'd seen DS9 more, I'd recognize the marking. I thought that was just a beautiful thing as a what an off. Because like I said to you a billion times, you don't need to invent new aliens all the time. Like, he's from Riser. That's enough to make it a reference, a link. And yeah, that planet finally came up with a science guy. It took them 900 years, but I love that. That's great. And
I like how he says I was surrounded by idiots.
Yeah. You know, this is the place we'll hang out to chill, and I'm a freaking genius. I want $1 million. No, it's great. No, this is.
General Grievous, $2.
This is great.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's fine. Just,
yeah. Look, it's Kirkland brand Baal Jaffa. This whole species are cowards. What? Anyway. Yeah, I think I really did like these scenes with Jet though. I kind of like the way she carried herself. Maybe not quite as snarky as usual, but that's okay. I just like her character, and she's well acted. I love how the one guy's like, great science was never accomplished with caution, and Jet's like, I'm not entirely sure that's true. So they just asked through if they can basically push this thing to the limit and keep it within the containment field. Because every piece of data is a clue.
Yeah, and I couldn't help but see this guy and see a Jafar as well. It was quite distracting, honestly. It was.
Oh, this is the yelling part too. You're so tense. Yeah. What was that? Yell at me. How did that feel?
Pretty good. I can tell your ganglia are shaking. Nah, it's pretty ganglia. Now, I thought that the CG of this anomaly forming, I thought was really nice. For whatever reason, I thought it was very grounded and fun. Although I didn't quite understand the threat level or not, because it's obviously creating a very, very small anomaly, and the growth isn't ever very large in any of the sequences, and yet they are ripping subspace while being, like 1 meter, 2 meters wide. But obviously giving off enough power to a force field at full strength, not to be able to stop it. So I was very intrigued by the scene. It was very nebulous, yet still clear of what it is, and it was quite fun to see You definitely needed the first visual to really resell what the anomaly looks like, because otherwise we only saw it once. Otherwise we saw the shocking cloud thing. And I did.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead. You're talking about the anomaly, so go ahead.
Well, then we have Jet, and Jet I thought was good, although not particularly memorable. Although it's more just that, like, if her scenes last 2 years were sometimes an 8 or a 9, sometimes like a 2, in like payoff, like winning, I thought these were like a gentle 6 of like, they're okay. Some lines were good. She wasn't really quite giving them her all though. She wasn't phoning in, but she felt like she was just sort of living them, not embracing them. I said to you in another review, she just felt like one of the crew, rather than any kind of like special personality. But that's kind of what you want though, isn't it? Just like, she's one of the engineers. Although, did not give off at all chief engineer vibes here. For whatever reason, felt like specialist, You know, if she should have been talking to engineering and having an engineering crew. Like, there was a total... Like, she's not the chief engineer, clearly, from this scene. It's like Stamets isn't the chief science officer, even though maybe he is? I don't know. You know? They're so non-committal with those things.
Because the show was never about the people in charge.
Except it always is.
It's the lower decksers.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, I like the Tarka guy. I love the character. I love the acting. And this scene in particular where he's like, you may not like me very much, but I like me. And so I'm not going to blow myself up, which by extension, I'm not going to destroy you either. Like, good argument, bud.
Yeah, it's an argument more people should realize. It's like, yeah, I don't want to die here. I'm here for the job. I haven't got an out clause. I'm not a Starfleet commander. I can beam out. I did see somebody post about the yell on Twitter, and I was like, ugh, it's gonna be a cringe moment. It's actually a really good moment because he's doing it purely as I want to help this guy. This guy is too tense. He's appreciate what we're doing here. He's won you over by this point. You know, he can make fun of himself. He can have fun. I was going into it expecting a bit of cringe, and I was really, really blown away by the nuance in some of the things. And even Saru, like, enjoying it, and it's just funny.
Yeah.
And then handing Stamets the thing he plays with. There's also a nice symbology of he's already grown to respect him in a short amount of time now. As they're all kind of getting on the same page as a little science family, which was lovely. Like, the whole room was very much forming a unit. I don't know, it was a good vibe.
Yeah, I like the way he works and bounces off of Stamets. The way they work together because I like Stamets as a character too.
Yeah, they're not antagonistic. It is a, and it's not. Yeah, it's unique. / Ronnie from Stargate mostly.
Oh yeah.
Ah, Thomas. Sure. Well, stop and shake this in later.
So next scene starts with Burnham saying, "Okay, I looked over the general's orders, and protocol allows a captain to grant political asylum in extreme circumstances. So yeah, we're good. Let's go." Like,
well, no,
really? We'd have this discussion right now.
If you say we want to be asylum, which is very technical by the book, you've got to say it, and
you have to ask for it. Yes.
Although, and I noticed this first, I'm thinking it was a mistake, but the last guy, the main guy, doesn't actually say. He says, "Okay, is that done? Let's move on." He never actually asks for it.
Yep.
Yeah, that was a lovely little touch.
Yeah, his whole modus operandi was to make sure that they were all given the fair shake.
Yeah, because he's talked to them for years, so he knows they're just people,
But then he says, "Just a minute, I gotta go get something." And he goes and gets this little ball-type dealy thing,
which he's had in his possession for 30 years, and he hid it from the guards. Stuart, where did he hide it from the guards when he got captured?
Nature's pocket.
Yep.
But this is where he confesses to Burnham that he took a life,
mm-hmm.
And that he's like, "You don't shrink from me," and she's like, "I'm not here to judge you."
Yeah.
Like, she's being very Starfleet captain-y, which is great. But yeah, I mean, this was something that he felt very bad for, and he stole this thing, and he didn't. Lalogi orb or something. Which is basically their family tree, their history of their family. So he wants to return it because we find out later, when we hear the full story, that the person he killed, their kid was in the next room.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
But also he didn't realize he stole it. It was a total he was trying to steal possessions to sell, and this happened to be the treasured family heirloom of every family. And he's like, "Oh shit! I would choose not to steal this if I had a choice, but I didn't mean to." Yeah, it was. I was worried this was going to lose me at this point because I don't want to complicate this. I just wanted to get him to get out of there. But I was like, okay, no, I kind of bought it. It was played it a good enough way. I thought Burnham played it off well for sure. Then they a force field, which is absolutely a commercial break vibe. It kind of cuts to black and then it's a threat, and then 5 seconds later, it's fine. We'll blow up bugs. It's the most quick sort of problem to resolution for a long time. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird how quick. It wasn't a bad solution by any means. It was just a bit quick.
It was a bit shit.
Oh, no. I mean, it was... Well, I didn't like the CGI on the outside, because I don't know if you saw it, but there was a weird like shimmering effect and deep in the background. So I think there's so much going on. They had to put render settings down. It's very weird and doesn't quite have a fidelity they normally have. So I think they were running out of time on the shot.
Where was the shimmer?
So if you watch it in motion, like right near the door with all the bugs, there's like a weird render distortion where I don't think they have enough renders going. So there's so many.
Supposed to represent a swarm of bugs though moving. That's why.
It looked like a render thing to me.
No, it looks like a swarm of bugs moving to me. So.
But it doesn't make sense if they're already at the door at that point. They'd explode. Why is everything exploding far away? Like they're not. You know what I mean? Like. You know what I mean? That doesn't make sense. I assume they're all coming. And anyway, it's just a bit of a weird effect. It didn't quite sell me. It didn't look as good as it normally does. But then kablooey, and luckily, it destroys the door, but nothing around the door. That's lucky. Even though the door you'd think would be as reinforced as the rest of the building because it's the door, blast door. It was just. I was expecting a big hole, but it was the most perfect like. Because it's the set they already had. They didn't want to destroy it, but I thought it was a bit of an odd thing. Like, come on.
Anyway, back in the spore chamber room, that they're almost done the evacuations. There's like 2 more loads of people left or whatever.
Hey, Richard, good to see.
Saru's like, I got to get back to the bridge, so let's call this quits. And they're like, no, man, we got to keep going. So they dial up the power, and Saru's got his kill switch. And to make a long story short, they get the containment field down to 5%, and that's when Saru kills it. So yeah, there's not that much else going on here, really.
Well, it's about the building tension of the scene. It's about these 2 scientists.
Their desire, their passion to see this thing. Yeah.
Well, and not just that, but the visuals are quite striking. I mean, this one I've got it on is quite big. I also like the fact that Stamets, at this point, clearly understands the guy's a genius, and he's clearly kind of fallen into the guy's personality cycle, because the new science guy he's not pressing any button, right? He's edging Stamets to keep going higher and higher, and Stamets is not even like hesitating. He's like all for it, to the point that he was going to kill everybody and destroy the ship. Like, they were 2 seconds away from everyone dying. Like, that's it. And then if this wormhole then was that stayed active, and this could have been a bad threat. So that's pretty terrible. And but it doesn't. It comes across as more like science extreme. Well, that's bad. Purity of scientific need, while at the same time a complete lack of. The end goal is worth anything. So I like the vibe, even though it's he's a bad influence. I think he'll come back a few times because they work as a pairing.
Hey, I like science.
Yeah, seriously. Although I found the off switch a bit laughable. It's like, do you really need a hologram switch in the air? Like, come on, just have it on a console. Don't make it a fancy hologram. But they get close. They get the subspace. Just break down. I'm not sure why they need to keep it. I'm not sure why more power equals more information. That wasn't quite explained, because surely it either does what it does or it doesn't do what it does.
They did explain it earlier on. It's just
because they say they need to stabilize it, but it's growing as well, so I don't know, they're using a lot of words.
Yeah, basically they needed to get out every little bit of data they could, so let it run as long as possible, and as a result, the larger the thing was getting, the more power it needed to drain. So that's the correlation there. They needed to get big enough that they could get more information. It's just simple.
But I didn't get a sense it like reached its maximum. It was just
no, it didn't.
Yeah, so when the guy at the end says, this is how much power it needs, it's like, well, you don't know. You didn't reach that point yet. So I wish it was more clear of this is now the appropriate scale. It's now causing damage to the anomaly. Like the difference between the 50-50 power, too much is going to make it rather than protect against it. So it was a bit unclear. It's just a little bit wibbly wobbly but it was a good scene, and it felt good, and the instant shutdown is quite satisfying. And he just walks away. He's like, you guys,
the experiment's over.
Yep. And then the Tig line of this is literally the closest you've come to killing us all, and that's saying something. That is a great line. I wish she said it with more interest and caring, because she's really like phoning that one in. But it was a really fantastic line, and they're like, "Ooh, yeah, I almost died then." Shit. Oops.
Yeah. Back on the planet, or moon, or colony, or asteroid, or whatever the fuck it is. They all get out of the thing except for the one guy. They beam up the 5 prisoners, and then the guy's like, "Oh, I'm not leaving. I'm not going anywhere."
Now this is the point I thought we don't need this twist. Just get them off the planet and move on. Like, this was an unnecessary detour.
Yeah.
It was great to this point. It's still great acting, but we don't need this twist, really.
Yeah. Well, he just talks about his penance, and he determined that he was going to die here years ago. He's going to wait for the thing to hit, or for the jailers to return, whatever one comes first. And then Book has a real problem with this.
Yes.
And the guy's like, "Well, you could force me, but it's your choice to make, I guess." And Burnham decides not to. I don't know why Book doesn't rush in and do it instead, but whatever. Well, he respects her authority as captain.
Well, it's an interesting argument. She says, his personal autonomy. He made the choice. He can step through any second. And Book says this is wrong, but
it's his debt to pay, essentially. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a weird one because it's a Kobayashi Maru. It really is. There is no right answer.
Yes.
And Burnham does the Starfleet choice. And as you joked in our review, every other season Burnham would just shoot him and get out. Like wouldn't even hesitate. Guns first. Is really remarkable to see this level of change. It's kind of confusing. It's like, but I more see it as Book, like, this is, the last survivor on this moon is going to get crushed by it. This could have been his brother. This could have been,
Yeah, but get over it, dude. Come on. I don't know. It just didn't suit. It didn't fit Book's character with what was happening. I don't think. I know what they were trying to do, but it didn't come across to me.
Well, it's a reaction with an emotion. It's purely emotive reaction. I think it works.
He should have been mad at the prisoner. Like, are you? Don't be a fool. Like, start yelling at him instead of being all disappointed in Burnham. Like, she's doing the right thing for a change.
What?
And
yes and no, because if he's hoping that she will side with him, and therefore he doesn't have to be the one to make the choice, because he knows obviously once he's on Discovery, everyone will side with the Federation officer. So if Burnham makes the choice he wants, he's in the clear, but he can't necessarily go against that right now. So he's he can't do it himself. It will only go so far, and so he's like, "God damn it, this is not what I want. What I would think he'd want if I was him." Blah blah blah. But I mean, he'll go over it. This isn't a long-term thing. This is just another victim of this thing, and I'm the only one that can sympathize with that, because even the guys that died in the anomaly, the satellite thing, died in the shuttle bay, which was because of a falling rock debris. That only he's felt the death of people from this thing. So this is another casualty that he could have saved. He could have just dragged and saved. So
Jason, I agree with you. He says, "I get why Book's upset. Making a scene though is a little much." Yeah, I totally agree with that. I understand why he's upset too. I just don't like the way he takes it out on Michael. Like, what the hell?
I wouldn't say making a scene necessarily, but
well, he was kind of stamping his feet like a little petulant child.
Yeah, you're allowed to be pissed.
You can't leave him here.
I think he was surprisingly unforceful.
Eugene, 250 rubles. This is first weird point of the episode. I had to recheck if there were 6 examples or not, or 4. 6 examples or 4. The second is about how and when the sun would come into play.
The sun is a left field thing. It's like, when was this the thing that was going to destroy them? For sure.
Yeah, I think the gravitational thing was pushing them towards it, though, I think.
Yeah, I mean,
but there was no sense of that. There was no heating up of the planets.
No,
like it should have been getting warmer or whatever. But
and we see suns in the background, like that's part of the LED displays. Like that should have started really far away, and then in the scene be almost the entire sky. It would have changed the tone totally. But next time we see the thing, it's literally next to the planet thing, which means it would be the entire sky, and we see 2 suns, they're blips. So I think they definitely because the thing is that all those visual effects were on after, whereas all the visual effects on the planet were done before and then on set. So they can't really change everything about, once your LED ward, you're kind of committed, because you can't relight the man to be fully bright. I mean, yeah, it was definitely a weird thing, because it didn't. It's not how they presented the scene or the tension. When it would have been cool, it would have been cool to say, yeah, you're flying into the sun right now. That's pretty dark.
Yeah.
Well, light.
And Donnie likes complaining today, I guess.
Oh.
What? No all of the above choice?
If you
Donnie,
had to choose.
We make the polls for a reason. We only have 4 slots available. That's why a lot of times we can't do certain options.
And it's fun to make you kind of say, if you had to pick one, 51% have. And I'm kind of surprised the poll's interesting, because it was which plot do you prefer most? The A plot, 46%, which is most people. As in terms of, yeah. The prison plot, 14%, so they're on your side there. 7% Culber, and surprising 32% for the, mere moments of his motivations of the scientist guy, which shows how intriguing it is. Which I put that in as if anyone votes for it, it snapped up a third of the votes, so that's quite impressive. Yes, Rebel, exactly the same thing, just different different physical location. And guys, we are $50 away from our minimum. Getting there. That's 10 fives, etc. We're doing well, but definitely help us out with the last 50. So they beam up, and wow, there's a sun, as they instantly lose. Oh no, they get confirmation it will hit, which implies it's far enough away they just learned the 1 degree, and yet the pace then demands now we then see. Yeah, because look, here's the suns. They're really far away, and then we. Oh no, they talk to him. I guess it could be a very long story. So then he chooses to tell the entire bridge crew his pain, which I thought was a bit of an odd thing. He wanted to, unburden himself, but it's like, I don't know, felt a little bit odd to kind of bear all to this random group of people he's never met before.
No, because you're just about to die. You got to get it off your chest. You got to tell somebody.
Do you?
Yeah.
Well, I guess. I don't know. I feel like you're burdening people with the horror of you killed somebody is a burden on them. Wouldn't you rather not burden people? Is that a kind of thing to do?
Wow. No, it's fine the way it was played. He just wanted to get it off his chest and explain the importance of the object that he gave Burnham, which I really appreciate. I thought it was weird that it was the same colony though, like the daughter's on the colony. I didn't really expect that necessarily.
Well, they're 1,000 light years away from Crejon. I mean, the burn kept them away, so they haven't been able to travel anywhere. So yeah, people have lived there their whole lives. 30 years ago, he killed a person. Yeah.
Well, he didn't kill them 30 years ago.
Yeah, he did.
He hasn't been in prison that long.
Yeah, he had a 30-year sentence. That's the whole point. He said 30 years ago I killed them. So the lady's 35 or whatever.
Yeah, okay, but it didn't say anything about Quajon. He's not from Quajon.
No. I said they're 1,000 light years away from Quajon, so they're nowhere near Starfleet space, and so there's no dilithium, and so it's been a colony alone, or under Emerald Chain territory control a bit ago. But I mean, it's just just a random colony. Yeah, lived there, died there, nowhere to go, really.
Yeah, but I mean, the Emerald Chain was transporting people back and forth to different planets and trade routes and stuff. So there's nothing to say. It was very convenient and contrived that she happened to be on this colony and was on the ship. I think that's ridiculous.
Well, it was definitely a bit more silly if there's 15 ships saving people and a few left. She happens to be on the that's a 1/25 chance. That I thought was a bit contrived. But this is his home, it was her home. Like it's just the colony they both live. And then suddenly you cut to the sun, now 2 minutes away, and it's like, well, where was that in the last shot? The sun's even setting. A bit odd. Yeah, that was definitely a time has passed moment. And would Discovery really wait there? Like, if this was still 30 minutes away, would Discovery really wait next to a sun just to watch it blow up? Like, it feels like it happened instantly, but I don't know. It's a really weird, huh. Oh yeah, then cut to the planet again, and you see the dude. Literally, the sun hasn't moved, and there's 2. Yeah, I think that's the continuum state they referred to, because that is not at all the scene that you see. God, that's embarrassing. Ah, that's funny. At that point, just refilm him or green screen him.
Yeah.
But in fairness,
The Magist.
it is beautiful though the way it goes into the sun. The effect is fantastic and scary and good effect.
Yeah.
And they jump away.
And the magistrate comes on and says, "Put these guys in the brig. We're not going to share our space with them." Which made me thought, well, why are they even sharing the space anyway? Put them in a separate cargo bay, holding area. If you don't want to put them in a brig, put them somewhere else. One guy admitted he was a murderer. We don't know what the other ones might have done on top of what they say they were there for. But anyway. And I love how she's like, "You're a refugee now. You're going to be wherever you kind of go. And you're going to have to hope that you land on a place that treats people better than the way you set up your colony." I like that. I like that because he was kind of an asshole. Andy Ulrich has joined the channel at the rank of captain.
Oh, wow.
Welcome, Andy.
Thank you. That's amazing. Thank you. Good to see you.
Channel memberships help a lot. If you guys are interested in checking out the join button, please consider doing so.
Absolutely. Yeah, I thought this was interesting. Yeah, I didn't think they'd beam them up to the same place. I think it'd be in like a conference room on F deck and just be, not in a brig, just told to sit in those chairs until they can be dealt with. That's fair. And he comes on. I thought it was a bit odd that he says, I was the leader of this colony. She's like, what, the colony that got destroyed? That's irrelevant. I was still voted as the leader of these people. Shut the fuck up, Bern. I'm still the... Yeah, I'm the refugee leader. Yeah, but... Don't talk down to me. I'm the elected leader of this people. You don't talk to me like that. Sorry.
No, I disagree. I think she was totally in the right for that. You mean that country that no longer exists? Yeah, you're still president of it. What's the point?
Of the people of it, yes. You're not president of a land, president of a people. The people are what survived. It's irrelevant if the colony's destroyed or not. They can overthrow him, but...
If the land's gone, he's in charge of nothing.
So who leads the people? No one?
But...
What, so they're just...
No, why do they need to? Because they're under Federation control. They're under Federation help right now. They're going to get put somewhere else. They're refugees. She explains it to him. Yeah, he has nothing.
If you delegate with the leader of the people... They're refugees who have a government, who have a leadership.
What if the leader of the Peter wasn't a complete asshole?
Well, he wasn't that much of an asshole. They chose to save prisoners that were part of their legal system. I mean, it's not that assholery. This is how the system works, and they have low crime. I mean, I thought it was relatively well balanced. Because these people, she basically said to them, "You are nothing, you scummy refugees. Listen to us. We now control your lives." And it's like, that's very dictatorial. That's Federation being...
That's what she said to him, not all of them, but yeah.
Well, yeah, just to him. Like, she's really, like, reduced them to nothing in this. It was really quite sad. We own you now, basically. And if we choose to put you on a shitty SETI Alpha 4, we are going to. She was very dismissive. And I know he's being a little bit whatever, but his people also going to die. He's allowed to be pissy at her. And he was very, respectful in his own way. So I thought, still the leader, be a bit more respectful, but whatever.
I think she was right on for that one. General Grievous, $2. As Odin said, Asgard isn't a place, it's a people.
Then we get the bedroom again.
Yeah, the whole, "Are you okay? I'm fine." Okay, moving on.
Well, lies. Okay. Lies! You lie because you look down.
Yeah, his tell, he looks down. Every time. Yeah, I don't know. He says that Kovic said he was wearing himself out, and Stamets like, yeah, he's right, actually. He realizes he needs to take a break. Whatever that means, I don't know, but we'll see.
It'd be nice to see him do something except, counselling.
And then they say how much alike they are, and he's like, "You're gonna make you a complete narcissist or glutton for punishment."
Yeah, but I like he acknowledges the guy's a genuine genius. The guy does know what he's saying. He is smart. We got close to blowing everything up, but no. And these two have such a gentle chemistry. They're not so much like heavy romance, more like they're married for like 30 years and they're like half friends, half. It's a very, very chill. They just are, you know. I also prefer if they were more touchy feely, like a bit more emotion. But we know Stamets. He's like not emotionful, you know.
Yeah.
And Culber's got to give a very professional look, especially if he's a counselor. He's almost trained now to not express his own feelings because that's not what he's there for. But it's a quite a sweet little moment, and then we get a rather odd Zora talking to Captain Burnham situation.
She can tell that Burnham's upset because she has empathy now because she feels emotions, and it's like, when did you start feeling emotions? Oh, it's a new thing.
It didn't really work for me. It feels a bit of a.
It felt a little forced.
Yes.
It'll be interesting to see where it goes because it went very quickly from Zora. Yeah, the ship picked its own name to now it's feeling feelings.
Any other ship captain in all of the Treks would say, "Scan the computer, we've got a problem." If she gets pissy at us, she might kill us all. Hal style.
Or if she doesn't want to get destroyed, she will disobey. Well, or disconnect systems in order to not follow orders, or there's a problem having your ship have feelings. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I was shocked by Burnham's casualness. It's not as if we've no sense the holograms or the life AIs in this part of the the last sentient AI destroyed the universe. So it was. This almost feels like a reshoot. Like, we need to add more Zora in. Let's get Sonequa back in the turbo lift. Like, it's fine. It's just, and it does. I feel like it devalues Calypso a ton because she's already emotionful with 0 years on the clock of evolution. The whole point of Calypso was it took 900 or 1,000 years to evolve to emotions. This tells us no, sitting around Nebula for 1,000 years with emotions totally changes the vibe there. So I think they're gonna retcon that.
The one in Calypso took 1,000 years in the nebula to develop the emotions. This one got thrown 900 or 1,000 years in the future. That did it. It's still the same amount of time.
Well, jokingly, yes, but it's because of the sphere data. The other one wasn't the sphere data; it was just the computer. So they're different. They're different origin stories, and I think that'll come into play in an alternate reality sort of way. But yeah, definitely weird.
Yeah, the whole "you can't do that, Dave." Exactly. I mean, it's not good to have a computer that's or a ship that's its own kind of thing.
I didn't want to do that, Burnham. You have no choice, but I do. Oh,
airlock, everybody.
Yes.
MC throws in $5.
Thank you.
I hope this instance isn't alluding to Zora, the intelligence being behind the DMA in some way.
I don't think so.
Oh, it's going to tie in with Calypso. She wants to go back to the past and goes to the past, but is unrefitted for some reason, and then wants to meet up with her crew again, so she goes to hang out in a nebula for another 1,000 years. Yeah. We'll see.
Y'all are so intolerant, so you all think Data should have been taken apart and stripped of its consciousness. Well, Data didn't have emotions, that was the whole point. He also had safety protocols heavily into his creation. This doesn't.
He's not a ship.
Yeah. And when he did go crazy, he did do bad things, and they, like Zora has control of a spore. I can't use it, but she has torpedoes, she has phasers, a cloaking device, warp drive, dilithium, can kill everybody. I mean, and
we never said that Data should have been taken apart and scrapped. Like, I don't know where you got that from. That's not even remotely what we said.
Data never had emotions, and the chip that he did have, I guess, did right at the end, but took right at the end. God, Data would be so jealous. Well, I guess 10,000 years of Data versus Data. Although, boy, I don't know if you have the same vibe, but when Zora says, "I found the lady. She's at airlock 4," I thought, "Oh God, is she gonna airlock herself?" I don't know if you thought that. I was like, "Why the hell is she in an airlock?" Like, most places aren't an airlock on the ship.
No, I didn't think that.
But it didn't make any sense an airlock. But it's because they want to reuse this corner set again. That's all it is. Like, well, it's the wrong spacesuit there.
Gives her family tree back. Don't care. Moving on.
And also, it was a weird visual, like, motion tracky effect. It wasn't quite. It was okay. It was okay. Well, I like the fact they're alien just by little, like, almost a full hit. I like the very minimal alien. It's very TNG-esque. So I thought that was nice.
Yeah. And then the book and
Yes.
Tarka scene.
Which is a great way to end, because that last thing would have been, oh, okay, it's ended. This is like a, aha. It was a nice bonus end.
Yeah, this whole, I know what it's like to feel pain and whatever. But he asks if, this is... He says he's read his file because he's the other spore operator, obviously. Book doesn't want to shake his hand, but he takes his drink. And, I don't know, we get that glimpse of that thing on its neck, which I like the conspiracy alien theory. I like that one a lot. But yeah, I mean... This is a good discussion just at the bar over some drinks, I guess. But
they're definitely
very antagonistic.
And they're definitely trying to make a new 10 forward, although it's just too dark and dingy to feel like it feels like a nightclub bar, and so it just feels like it's a drown your sorrows sort of place rather than a nice chill bar you want to hang out in, Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like the ending the way it ended out here.
No, is it you really need this to kind of give it a nice little bookend of like, ooh, Although Rebel Poet says I'm being sarcastic. Well, we can't tell with text.
I was surprised it was Rebel Poet saying
yeah.
This is pretty good. So I figured as much, but you got to understand too. I've been yawning through this whole thing. I'm super fucking tired, and I'm a little bit cranky. So yes. I apologize.
Whereas I've got to do stuff.
Happens sometimes.
I got to do a ton of stuff before I leave tonight or leave tomorrow tonight, so I can't afford to be sleepy. So kind of like caffeine.
Yeah,
there's stuff to do.
Sorry about that. I get snappy sometimes when I get tired.
But this is a great little scene, and also solidifies him as a nice-ish guy. He's just like science forward. He's nice enough. Yeah. And I like the fact that the book, even though he's drinking synthahol, like he's not really here to get drunk. He's just here to be alone in a place. It's a that was a nice touch.
And the guy even says, Book says you don't know me. He goes, no, but I know anger, and anger is a pretty productive emotion.
I wonder if that plays into his personality at all.
And that's when you see the neck thing. So,
because I wouldn't necessarily call anger a productive emotion. I'd kind of call it distracting, honestly. But if it fuels him,
depends what the end goal is. It can be very productive in some situations.
No, this is a really good little scene.
Usually never for the best or for the good.
I will say, and I agree, I think you said it previously, I think Book, he's now been mopey too many times. This should be the last time. We don't need to see this again, this level. It's just, he's playing the same tune.
I just hope this doesn't come back in the... Yeah, I'm over my brother and my nephew now, but that guy you left there, why would you do it?
Yeah.
Doesn't need to be mentioned ever again.
Yep, we've had that moment. But, he's sad. And let's focus on that scratch for a second. I like the side-eye Book gives. But I'm assuming it's Emerald Chain, just something as simple as that, and he recognizes it because he was, he knew them. He's like, oh, okay, you were a slave prisoner. I can understand more about you now. Yeah. No, good to end on. And I really hope this guy's back. I like the wheelchair guy from previous season, but he didn't have the same something. I mean, hey, put all three together in a room, that'd be great. But this, it was a really strong ending. I like it with intrigue, And I'm just so thrilled because I saw some vague tease of this week, and I was like, oh, it's gonna drop the ball, but they did well. They did well.
It was a good episode, yeah. All right, it's that time of the month. I mean, the day. I mean, the
For
year.
you, it might be is the payoff to that setup.
Well, with my crankiness, maybe.
There you go.
130 likes is good. We'll keep the likes where we're at.
Yes.
Unless we can get another 20 to get to 150. We'll try it anyway. But we need another 70 at least. It's probably not going to happen.
Well,
but...
it swapped to Americans. We need another 30. I don't know why it swapped, but 30.
Yeah, I noticed that too. But
yeah, so 6 5s.
Those
well, all that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
6 5s.
Yeah, couple fives. Put in your score out of 10 for this one,
Mm-hmm.
for this season or for Discovery in general.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll read those out when we're done here with our summations and our scores. And yeah, I think my opinion might have changed a little bit on this episode. It was actually a little bit better than I might have first realized. Like I said, I only saw it once, 1.5 times this time. So,
And also, people are reminding us these are actually the same aliens from the Enterprise episode Civilization. So they're already erased from canon as well.
who?
The aliens, the prisoner people, the aliens, the two little yeah, they are the, what are they called? Akali.
Akali.
So yeah, and they were pre-warp. They were like medieval people in the episode. How great is that? Oh, they were the one where there was the secret aliens pretending to be them with like a secret underground base. They were doing something sneaky. See, that's how you use it. It's so subtle, and I said they felt like a TNG. It's because they were made by Michael Westmore. Yeah.
Nice.
Good points. Good.
All right.
All right.
My summation. Good episode. Glad we didn't see a deer in gray. That would have distracted from it. The Hugh stuff was just done enough, and we got enough of the story there to have that be good. Seeing Kovac was again awesome. And the scenes with Hugh and Stamets were, I think, very well done. The prison storyline could have totally been removed for me. I really wouldn't have cared. But that being said, the prisoner that died, I really did like his performance. I thought, like, I could listen to the guy talk all day. I love the way he spoke. Just don't tell me about killing people. That's all. But other than that, I mean, it was just, that was the generic-y, action-y bit that they needed to put in, the break-in and out of prison, and it was fine, I guess. It did tie in with the magistrate's attitude and the colony thing, but not enough to really be important enough to me. It should have been shorter. Other than that, Reese needed more screen time, even though he got more than normal. That's great, but it would have been nice to see him a little bit, a little bit more than what we did. But the introduction of Tarka was great. The fact that Jet Reno's back, that whole Jet Reno, Saru, Tarka, and Stamets, those scenes I think were so well done. The dialogue was really good. The acting was very good. The way they portrayed their characters as being like super stoked for they need to get the science, the facts at all costs, pretty much. I think was well played as well. So
to jump in there briefly, it super fits in now. I'm thinking about it, the way you say that with Stamets' obsession over the last few. Like, it all doesn't make sense. Like, he's that close, so that really like ties in very well for him, actually.
Let's see. Other than that, I think Burnham was great this episode. The fact that she allowed this guy to actually stay, and this was his choice. She didn't force anything on him. She didn't, and even to the point of she knew she was upsetting Book as a result. But she's grown enough as a character that as a Starfleet captain, that she knows, what should be done. So I'm appreciative of that. At least she's an actual character now. Let's see. Anything else? Nah, I mean, that's about it. Don't have much else to say, honestly. It was a good episode. Score-wise, this season, I'm going to give it an 8.3. Pops into my head for some reason.
All of
Discovery? For all of Discovery... Honestly, probably like a 8.9. Almost a 9, but not quite. I'm using the hell out of those point systems now.
And I will say, you don't realize that you're being very consistent with your past scores just there. So congratulations, good job, you. Just saying, well done. And I want to be at the last poll and do a new poll brief before we close. I asked what was Pill's favorite plot of the week. A plot won with 46%. The D plot, which was the motivation of the scientist, 29%. Prison subplot 12%, and close Culber's at 11%. So yeah, the prison did not impress people either, Stuart.
That's good. I feel vindicated. Do you want to give your synopsis before I read the super chats, or?
No, I think super chats get some priority here.
Okay, Caleb Horn throws in $10. Thank you so much. 8 out of 10 overall. Okay. Sergeant Montgomery, $2, 8 out of 10. Yahoo, no gray and no dark crystal hair. Dark crystal hair. Wow. And TX Stevens B throws in an amazing super chat of $50, which saved our butts today. Thank you so much. That is much appreciated. A 9 out of 10 for me so far this season. Looking forward to the DMA mystery being uncovered. Merry Christmas, guys. With a Christmas tree and some Foley class ships and some awesome avatars of us. So thank you so much. You have no idea how much that helps us out, because this month is just awful.
Many
anyway,
factors come together.
Don't want to harp on our problems, but yeah.
Because we do the work either way, and we love our regulars. You know.
And ironically, last December was like our best month ever with Discovery.
Yes. Yeah.
Which was weird.
It was. I think we should really just think of a world as averages, because we have such high and such lows that don't necessarily make sense.
Just... Well, yeah, we got mountain peak, like, yeah.
Yeah. But no, 50 is incredible. I mean, you know how much that means to us. Thank you, absolutely. And my quick little poll before I give my thing is: the DMA anomaly. Are you more or less excited by learning that it is artificial and intent? Yes, more excited. No, less excited, and unchanged. Honestly, vote now or forever hold your peace. My closing thoughts. Yes, I maintain it's the best of this season. It has the strongest stories. They all work together well. There isn't any plot holiness, except I guess the sun at the end, but okay. The characters are all good for the most part. They do a lot to make you... You know, they tend to have a guest star each week, and I think the prisoner guy was just a better actor than, like, the guy from the first episode on the colony, you know, the science station. He really, like, owned his scenes, and so did Kovic. Kovic, I think that's his name. I think they compressed some of actors in the episode by a lot and gained a lot of extra oomph from them. Even Saru had really good little moments, either he was a secondary to that scene, but him being there felt about right. He added to it. He developed from it. That was a really good use of those as a team, and those whole scenes are really like electrifying of interest and vibe. And even through this live, we worked out how much more like integrated the overall narrative they are. The CGI was great for the LED wall. Really good use of that. Well integrated. The main prisoner's hair, I said to you in another review, which I haven't seen yet, but people will see. LED wall is the only way you could do that, really. So really good job there. Book was pretty good, although a little bit tag-alongy. And I do think this was perfect, having an away team, Burnham. Like you should normally have, like 3 or 4 people come help you, even if they're no-name red shirts, which could... You know, you could have lost one to the bugs, like you could have had that in part of the story, etc., etc. They don't say anything, just why is your captain and your non-Starfleet civilian crew member going? There's a bit of a disparity between those two roles. Have a science person, have an engineer person, have a military person, you know, just have an away team, my goodness. And yeah, Colb's stuff was really good, needed more backstory, but we knew it was just like a... It's like having Unification 3 25 years later. It's like, I guess it works. But that obviously contextually made more sense. Score-wise, best this season. Obviously, I have the advantage of seeing the scores next to me. But, I mean, this has got to be 9 out of 10 for the season. You know, it didn't do much out of kilter. And certainly, this puts Discovery Season 1 to shame. In maturity... Good writing, characterness, and Starfleetness, Star Trekness. I mean, it honestly puts Season 1 to absolute shame. I'd love to see this one back to back with the best of Season 1, which was the Mud episode, and see how, like, tonally, just how god-awful that, like, vibe-wise is in comparison, even if the story's better. So, all Discovery, I would say, I'm going to go, I don't necessarily think it's a 9 for all Discovery, because I liked a lot of Season 3, but I will go 9 just to kind of be 1 point higher than you, because I think it probably... I liked it more than you, so logically I've got to give it 9 across the board. But yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Really good. It's not perfect, and there's always a chance to get better, but it definitely is one of the best. And it's not even like it necessarily went anywhere, but it progressed everything nicely and was a good Star Trek story, and that's really freaking important for Discovery to do.
A new side character with
Yes.
Parka. I like him.
Yeah,
and
great
bringing
introduction.
Jet back. I mean, that's some good points in this.
Yeah, there you go. Cool.
Alrighty, guys.
Right.
Let's see what. Well, I already read the
Okay.
super chats for it, so.
So if we can get, I mean, if we can get the $7, guys, we'll round up. $7. That is a beautiful, beautiful number. Round us up. Let's see what the non-super chat scores are. Put in your scores right now. We have a 9.3 from John, 5 out of 10 from Wagyu, 6 out of 10 from Mr. Jericho, Aussie 9 to 10, but he misses Grudge. I don't think Stuart misses.
Nobody misses Grudge. I've missed Grudge with every bullet so far.
I always love that joke. You do. Colin 8.5 out of 10. Nice solid episode. Chuck A 7.5. Beta Hazard 9 out of 10. Christopher Mulroney 9.5. Ooh, 10 out of 10 from Donnie. That's very, very strong.
Ooh. Why not 11 out of 10, Donnie? Why wasn't that an option?
I mean, you know,
all the way up to 11.
I'm very careful with perfect scores because the 10 is perfect and everything can always be better, except the occasional like this. You know, 10's have got to be 10 for a reason. For me, anyway. That's why anything above 9.5 is exceptional, but 10 is like that. Is that gold standard of this is the, you know, put in a time capsule into the future level. Yeah, so $7 more, or if not, that's fine. But the poll, I said, yes, more people are more excited, which I'm very happy about.
That's good, yeah. I mean, it was kind of. I think most people assume that it would be an artificial thing.
Yeah.
But then it comes to the whole big baddie thing, which we've talked about a bit, you and I, and it could just be somebody trying something that's unintentionally causing this damage. It's not necessarily a big bad, so it'll be interesting to see how they play it.
Yeah, although it does somewhat go against the when they said, "Oh, it's not a, you know, it's not a baddie. It's an artificial." Like, is it the way they picture it is? Oh, it's a natural phenomenon. It's a gravity anomaly, not a. I'm wondering if that's a specific like red herring, because it's a nice enough reveal in the episode, but it's we'll see. We'll see. And, of course, join us tomorrow, or at least join us for the edited short review. Most people obviously won't watch the 2-hour review, so join past us for that. Plus Saturday and Sunday, of course. And next week, it's Christmas.
I'm probably doing a live later tonight as well, guys. Probably about 10:30 p.m., maybe 11 at the latest.
That'd be good.
If you guys are interested.
Late night with the captains are always fun. And he may or may not be doing a Spider-Man look. That's a very might or might not. That is totally dependent on vibe. So
yeah, I'm going to see Spider-Man tomorrow night at 10 p.m. my time. So yeah, maybe on the weekend.
Yeah, but yeah, next week so I'm back on Thursday morning. But obviously I've got to do everything prep-wise for this. I assume we're filming I assume we're living on Thursday because it's not Christmas Eve. We don't want to be live on Christmas Eve. I'll literally...
What day is Thursday?
Thursday's the 23rd. Because if I'm live on Friday, then I'll literally be talking to you on Christmas Day as it clocks over.
Yeah, we're not doing that.
Not doing that.
We're absolutely not doing that.
Nope.
Yeah, we'll do the Thursday, the 23rd, I would guess.
So if
unless something comes up, in which case it'll have to be pushed back to Monday or Tuesday.
Yeah. Okay. But we'll certainly aim to bring you regular content. And, you know, the Christmas present you'll get is, we hope they have a brand new ship that's epic on the Saturday then, because Saturday is Christmas Day, is the Trekyards Saturday episode, so hopefully they have a really great present for us to give to you.
And if not, we got some interviews with some people.
Exactly.
Kind of teased will be out. And
exactly.
I can't see them ever coming out now.
Bitch. Shut up. Cool. Awesome. Good stuff, good stuff. Oh, we did get another super chat. No, we didn't. Why has the number changed? We're only two... Oh, because I hadn't clocked in yet. Right, now we're only $2 away.
Oh, Area 51, $5. Because overtime pay with this channel.
And you...
Area 51. And looks like you might have got the last super chat slot.
Yeah,
Even
boy.
Another $2 would be good.
Yeah, it's teasing, isn't it? It's like... It's just two. But no, this was fun. I'm glad, you know. Glad I zoned you in, Stuart, because I definitely enjoyed this one.
Yeah, I think I enjoyed it more than I did the first watch through.
It-
I need to watch it again.
It is different on second viewing when you're not waiting for the prison stuff to. Is it going to keep going? You kind of see the guys acting and you kind of appreciate some of those things a bit more.
See you later, Donnie.
Oh, I doubt that, Wagyu. I doubt that. Only a little bit, I'd assume. I mean, some little bit, but I wouldn't say too much.
And Sergeant Montgomery, you wish. I'd like to see that as well.
Oh, oh yeah.
Oh, there's $2, Sergeant Montgomery. Thank you so much. Sergeant Montgomery's now the last super chat slot. And that's where we'll end it. Thank you guys for watching.
Yes.
Have yourselves a good
weekend. Yeah.
And a good holiday season if we don't see you before then, but we'll be around.
You better come see us. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Until then,
Commander Cocking.
he's got a Foley.